The Appalachian Mountains.
The Appalachian Mountains.
Appalachian Mountains.
Why is it everyone's nightly routine to close their blinds when living in the Appalachian Mountains?
Despite the world being primarily overtaken by humans and our need to modernize everything we see, there are still places in this world that hold a sort of mysticism about them. One of these places has taken the internet by storm, often flooding social media like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok with thousands of posts talking about stories and first-person accounts of the specific location, and that is the Appalachian Mountains. It seems that the fear of these mountains is widespread when it comes to the online community. Many of the locals of these areas take to TikTok to discuss creepy things that they have encountered or things to avoid when visiting said locations.
Going out here by myself. Weird stuff out here. I've been hearing weird stuff out here, so. Yep, there it is. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go.
But with a location as beautiful as the Appalachian Mountains, what is there to be afraid of? Well, according to some people, a lot actually. Let's start off with one of the most common warnings the locals give, and that is not to whistle into the forest at night. Now, the reason for this warning varies depending on who you ask. There are many natives that say that whistling is often something that disturbs things that live underground, an idea that was passed on to the miners when they occupied the area. According to some of the locals, miners would see things that would creep them out and they would avoid whistling altogether, let alone at night. Now, as to what these things that live underground could actually be depend on who you ask. The two common entities that are associated with this idea is demons and spirits. Now, there isn't a lot of information out there as to why a demon would be bothered by this whistling, but apparently the spirits don't like it because it reminds them of their time being alive, and it frustrates them because they can't return to that lifestyle. A more modern take of this warns people that whistling attracts wendigos, an ancient Native American urban legend which we have a video about on our channel, who often looks for humans at night to either devour or possess. Many people, however, like to take a more realistic approach to this superstition and see that whistling is often avoided because when you are in the forest, you want to make sure you're as invisible as you can. When you're in the woods and far from any large group of people, whistling could attract other people towards you who might not be so friendly. The funny thing about this, however, is that there are other places in the world that share this kind of superstition or rule. Another region in America that share that superstition is by the Pacific, and there are certain places in Asia that also share the rule to not whistle at night. Now, a lot of people claim that this superstition is just as important when reversed, and people say that when you hear a whistle in the woods, you don't go near it. Now, personally, I think anybody who walks towards a whistle in the woods, especially at night, and especially when you're alone, is crazy. Many natives think that this is also a tactic often used by skinwalkers in order to lure in their prey. So what exactly is a skinwalker? Well, we have a video here on our channel. Let's go over a brief discussion of what a skinwalker actually is. A skinwalker is basically a creature from Navajo folklore that hunts humans or other living creatures. It is often said to be a witch that can transform itself into multiple creatures to better lure in its prey. And a lot of the locals say that these mountains are a hotspot for these creatures, or maybe even where they originate from. Skinwalkers will often try different things in order to bait humans into getting closer to them. These things can include things like mimicking a voice of a loved one, transforming into a family pet in order to be let into the house, or luring people in with the infamous whistle. Some people that hike in the area have even told stories of hearing others crying for help in a way that seems very unhuman. Shouts of pain in a very monotone voice, or having somebody call you by name despite them not knowing anybody in that area. Like, imagine being a hiker, driving 5 to 10 hours to a different state where you don't know anybody, going into the mountains to hike them by yourselves and having somebody call you by name. Like, that's terrifying. Now, according to urban legends, the skinwalker has to kill something in order to take its shape. So if you see your dog or cat acting strange, it might not be them. Now, these creatures are often associated with the wendigo, and while they are similar, they are not the same creature. A wendigo is basically a monster that originates from a human who ruined his soul by partaking in human cannibalism. Many of the natives believe that turning into a wendigo is a form of divine punishment put on people for eating or killing other people. These creatures are said to be insatiable in their hunger, meaning that they can never stop hunting for living creatures to eat. Now, many people believe that these screams for help that hikers often hear are associated with skinwalkers or wendigos. But other people believe it could just be goats or bobcats since they have very similar screams. And if you've ever heard a bobcat scream, it sounds a lot like a lady. These mountains are often a hotspot for UFO activity as well, with many sightings often being talked about or shown on TikTok. This has led many people to believe that all these supernatural beings could be extraterrestrial or at least linked to these sightings. Bright lights in the sky or even giant beams of light shining through bedroom windows have been mentioned in people's personal stories. The large amount of sightings have been studied by many local news stations and even UFO enthusiasts, but many still remain unexplainable. So what exactly lies inside the Appalachian Mountains? And the truth is, we might never know. Those of us who do discover the truth might never make it back to tell the rest of us. Anyway, this has been Sinister Stories, and thank you for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like so you can get more videos just like this. And if you want to go ahead and check out our channel, we have a lot of videos on a lot of different subjects, and odds are you might find one that catches your eye. And I will see you all in the next video.